When an advanced, persistent threat tries to hijack a country's power grid, you don't shut down the turbines. You trap them in a quantum decoy and burn their server farm from the inside out. Level 1. The Subgrid Anomaly. The Ghost in the Machine. The hum of the cooling fans inside the Central Industrial Data Facility is low and continuous. The floor panels vibrate subtly from the immense power flowing through the server racks in the adjacent subterranean hall. You're not monitoring standard cloud databases or commercial web traffic today. You are overseeing the primary supervisory control and data acquisition matrix, the digital spinal cord that regulates regional power distribution networks. On your center multi-monitor setup, the primary telemetry charts show perfectly flat, green operating baselines. Pressure metrics, transformer loads, and frequency regulators are all operating within optimal safety margins. To any standard infrastructure controller, this is the picture of complete mechanical harmony. However, your custom diagnostic filter catches a micro deviation in the packet timing of the programmable logic controllers. The communication interval between the central routing core and a remote high-voltage substation has shifted by less than 2 milliseconds. It is so small that standard industrial monitoring tools treat it as routine electromagnetic interference from the high-voltage lines. But you know that automated hardware doesn't hallucinate timing anomalies. You detach the specific telemetry thread and isolate it in a sandboxed monitoring window. Your fingers execute a series of low-level diagnostic commands across your mechanical keyboard, tracing the raw signal paths down to the hardware interface layer. The response packet returns with a disguised telemetry signature. A sophisticated threat actor has established a persistent bridge directly into the serial communication interface of the substation controllers. They didn't break down the front door with a loud denial of service attack. Instead, they used a forged digital certificate from a trusted hardware vendor to bypass the perimeter authentication systems. They're standing silently inside the primary control loop, observing the operational cycles of the equipment and mapping the physical safety limits. They aren't trying to cause immediate damage. They're preparing a synchronized blackout script. The shadow has entered the power grid, waiting to pull the kill switch. Level 2. Memory Infiltration. The hidden PLC hook. To identify how deeply the adversary has embedded themselves inside the industrial control systems, standard network traffic analysis is useless. They are masking their malicious operational instructions inside legitimate industrial automation protocols like Modbus and DNP3. To the network security appliances, these malicious packets look identical to routine operator commands raising or lowering valve pressures. You need to inspect the volatile memory registers of the programmable logic controllers directly to reveal the underlying malicious execution threads. You launch a real-time memory dump across the primary domain controllers servicing the energy grid. The high-resolution screens split into dense grids of hexadecimal strings and register addresses. Millions of bytes of system memory are displayed on the high-contrast dark layout. You compile an aggressive search script to scan specifically for unauthorized memory overrides inside the real-time operating system kernel. The code lines stream past at incredible speed, reflecting off your vintage spectacles as you lean closer to the display matrix. You find it, a hidden memory hook living directly inside the register space that controls the physical safety shutdown thresholds of the primary power turbines. The threat actor has deployed an in-memory modification technique that intercepts the physical sensor data before it reaches the operator screens. If a generator begins to dangerously overheat, the malicious code modifies the reporting signal to show perfectly normal temperatures, while allowing the physical machine to destroy itself. It is a fileless, hardware-targeted payload designed to cause real-world physical destruction without ever leaving a trace on the main operating system storage drives. Level 3. Protocol Smuggling. The Covert Channel. The threat actor is actively exfiltrating the exact operational schematics and physical safety tolerances of the turbine systems, but all outbound firewall channels remain strictly locked. No unknown IP addresses appear in your routing logs, and all external network ports are sealed behind multi-layered defensive barriers. Yet, telemetry bandwidth usage shows a steady, microscopic bleed of raw data leaving the facility. You realize you are dealing with an adversary using highly specialized protocol smuggling techniques to bridge the gap between isolated networks. You extract a raw sample of the outbound diagnostic streams that send routine performance metrics back to the turbine manufacturer's remote maintenance servers. Dropping the raw data into a custom inspection engine, you strip away the standard protocol wrappers and examine the structural padding bytes. The threat actor is using advanced protocol steganography, encoding stolen infrastructure blueprints directly into the subtle timing differences between normal maintenance status updates. It is a slow, methodical exfiltration technique that effortlessly glides past standard corporate firewalls and deep packet inspection engines. Using the memory register offsets discovered during the previous phase, you assemble a custom mathematical decryption array to unmask the hidden stream. The encrypted noise collapses into readable technical schematics and target profiles on your console display. You are looking at their attack plan, a complete map of every physical circuit breaker and emergency shutdown valve across 3 municipal sectors. But buried deep within the headers of their covert exfiltration protocol, you discover a fatal flaw, a hard-coded cryptographic callback address pointing directly to a hidden proxy node inside a state-sponsored offensive server farm. Level 4. The Quantum Counter-Payload, the Grid Trap. The critical threshold has been reached. The adversary's automated attack engine is prepping a final destructive command to trip every primary breaker simultaneously, plunging the region into a catastrophic multi-day power collapse. Standard procedure requires an immediate manual shutdown of the grid interfaces and a complete offline isolation. But isolating the network allows the state-sponsored cell to disconnect clean, adjust their payload signatures, and attack a different target tomorrow. You are not going to retreat behind an isolation wall. You are going to use their own connection to annihilate their control node. You execute your signature counteroffensive, the quantum-resistant decoy trap. You construct a virtualized, hyper-realistic clone of the core grid controller and expose a simulated hardware vulnerability on a decoy network segment. To the adversary scanning scripts, this decoy looks like the primary control vault containing the master operational keys for the entire regional energy matrix. The lure shines bright and unguarded on the dark digital landscape. The enemy strikes instantly. Their automated exploit kits connect to the decoy and begin pulling down the massive core system archives you prepared for them. But these archives are laced with a weaponized counter-exploit framework. Deep within the metadata of the fake system files is a hyper-optimized zero-day exploit targeting the specific Linux kernel running on the remote command and control server infrastructure. The moment the stolen data is processed on their master receiving server, your hidden payload triggers a remote execution loop, seizing complete control of their command console. A neon cyan dialog box flashes across your primary Kali display. C2_core_node compromised. You have reversed the breach. With cold precision, you deploy a wiping utility that systematically overwrites their remote drives with zero fill patterns, frying their command infrastructure and exposing their entire covert operational network to international intelligence agencies. Level 5. The Mitigation Protocol. Permanent Lockdown. The counterattack has completely destroyed the hostile infrastructure, but an elite operator knows the job is incomplete until the local system architecture is thoroughly purified and hardened. The adversary's active C2 node is dead, but your system still holds the lingering code fragments from their initial intrusion. You switch your terminal interface into a dedicated system remediation layout to begin the final phase, the mitigation protocol. First, you execute a total firmware reflash across every programmable logic controller on the industrial network. You overwrite the compromised memory registers with cryptographically signed, verified, clean baseline code, permanently severing any latent memory hooks. Next, you implement an absolute zero-trust microsegmentation rule across the internal network routing tables. Every single signal moving between the controllers and the physical equipment must now pass through strict cryptographic handshakes, dropping any packet carrying irregular timing or modified header structures. Finally, you run a comprehensive diagnostic sweep across the entire regional power infrastructure dashboard. One by one, the status indicators across your multi-monitor array shift from warning amber and pulsing red back into a steady, tranquil neon cyan. The compromised nodes are restored, the physical safety limits are re-established, and the system operating parameters return to absolute equilibrium. You archive the full incident breakdown to a secure encrypted vault, clear your terminal history, and watch the steady, clean flow of power metrics across the dark glass displays. The grid is safe, the threat is eliminated, and the operational perimeter stands unbreachable.